Shalom, everybody. This is Christmas, the birth of a sun god. December 25th has been someone's birthday for over 4,000 years. He was the first king on earth, built Babel, a tower, and became the first mighty one, or God-man. This rebel wanted to shoot an arrow at Yahuwah from the top of the tower. He founded the worship of the host of heaven, known today as astrology. This worship of the Mazareth, or zodiac, animal-shaped star groups, is based on celebrating the rebirth of the sun at the time of the winter solstice in December. Since ancient times, the solar birthday and all of the symbols associated with sun worship were practices honoring the deification of Nimrod. Nimrod became the template for all sun worship. His name was babbled in the confusion of languages, becoming Shamash, Ra, Mithras, Moloch, Baal, Apollo, Kronos, Orion, God, Odin, Zeus, Krishna, etc. His identity is occulted in the character of Santa Claus, Krampus, or Old Nick. A day is coming when all mankind will be judged for causing stumbling blocks. Children are the target. Maimonides wrote about the strong opinion of habit in his book, Guide for the Perplexed. Men like the opinions to which they have been accustomed from their youth. They defend them and shun contrary views. And this is one of the things that prevents men from finding truth, for they cling to the opinion of habit. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 4 says teachers will abandon the truth and turn aside to myths. Missionary adaptation. Dionysius Exiguus, a Scythian monk, visited Rome in the year 525. He witnessed Rome's fertility festival of Saturnalia and was appalled by it. History tells us he modified the reason for the celebration. The world now thinks of December 25th as the birth of Messiah, a revision mostly unexplored by most people. We will by only lies and myths passed down to us. We live by only lies and myths passed down to us. Children are the target. Every popular celebration you can think of is directly inherited from pagan fertility worship from our ancestors. Shaul, commonly known as Paul, was concerned that his work had been in vain among the Galatians. They were falling back in their own pagan traditions and special days. He called their former pagan customs weak and miserable principles. Pastors falsely teach their flocks these Galatians were falling back into Torah. Pastors falsely teach their flocks these Galatians were falling back into Torah. Do not learn the way of the heathen. Deuteronomy chapter 12, verses 1 through 5. Yahusha is opening our eyes now, and abiding in his word, is setting us free of the devil's schemes. He is calling us to come out of the mother of harlot, Babel's traditions. Celebrating Christmas is adapted from sun worship. All pastors know it, but they don't teach about it. They will defend the pagan origins, explaining how it doesn't matter because the purpose for it has been redirected. They react with the statement, it doesn't mean that anymore. Some will confess that everything Christianity practices is inherited from pagans, verifying Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 19. Sun worship literally transformed itself into the thousands of religious sects known by many names, hiding its origins from the ignorant masses by a policy of missionary adaptation, syncretism. When we refuse to receive a love for the truth, Yahuwah sends us a strong delusion to believe the lies. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11. What is missionary adaptation? This is a teaching method used to shape the existing beliefs, words, symbols, and practices of a culture into different meanings. This method served well to spread Catholicism. This behavior is still reinforced and condoned as doing a greater good, but from the viewpoint of Yahuwah, it is a scheme of the devil to teach the traditions of men as a form of righteousness while abandoning the word of Yahuwah. 2 Timothy verse 3. Another warning about turning aside to myths is recorded at 2 Timothy 4. Peter tells how the false teachers would be saying the truth is evil. 2 Peter chapter 2 verses 1 to 3. But there also came to be false prophets among the people, as also among you there shall be false teachers, who shall secretly bring in destructive heresies, and deny the master who brought them, bringing swift destruction on themselves. And many shall follow their destructive ways, because of whom the way of the truth shall be evil spoken of. And in greed, with fabricated words, they shall use you for gain. From of old their judgment does not linger, and their destruction does not slumber. Those teaching the truth in the last days are exposing the schemes of the devil, getting the bride cleaned up. Christmas, birthdays, Easter, and Halloween are special days in the eyes of most people and entwined very strongly with family bonds. Yahuwah forbids us to mimic pagans. We have been duped, and witchcraft has entangled itself with our family bonds. When we abandon pagan customs and explain why we no longer practice them, or practice these holidays, we are accused of being hateful, and they heap abuse on us. 1 Peter 4 shows us what's happening. Consequently, he does not live out his remaining time on earth for human passions, but for the will of Elohim. For you have spent enough time in the past carrying out the same desires as the pagans, living in debauchery, lust, drunkenness, orgies, carousing, and detestable idolatry. Because of this, they consider it strange of you not to plunge with them into the same flood of reckless discretion, and they heap abuse on you. This is what Yahuwah means about us being the salt of the earth. If we live among them and they hardly notice us, we have lost our saltiness. At Revelation 12, Yahusha describes for us a great sign: the woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, in his own unwary bride, surrounded by the 12-star pattern. She is defiled by all her idolatrous sun worship. Our acts of obedience are our white robes. We no longer walk as pagans. Come out of her. Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. Yahusha uses these words to call his bride out of the teachings of the harlot mother before releasing his wrath. When was Yahusha born? Tradition informs us Yahusha was born December 25th on Christmas Day. And shepherds and magi came that night to worship the child. The truth is far different in practically every detail. To the Romans, December 25th was the time of Saturnalia, celebrated with wild frivolity, drunken feasting, and fertility symbols to herald the rebirth of their sun deity, Apollo. Soldiers knew him as Mithras, the slayers of the bull, the zodiac, animal constellation. Taurus. December 25th was adopted to revise the pagan festival into a Christian festival. In 321, Constantine enforced Rome's venerable day of the sun, replacing the seventh day's Sabbath as a day to rest. Sunday is not Yahuwah's Sabbath. Occult practices were camouflaged with new interpretations, leaving the symbols and behavior perfectly intact to this day. Mithras was the Persian sun deity popularized by the Roman soldiers. They went full tilt Nimrod as well. Christmas, a satanic practice. A 17th century Puritan public notice. The observance of Christmas having been deemed a sacrilege, the exchanging of gifts and greeting, dressing in fine clothing, feasting, and similar satanical practices are hereby forbidden, with the offender liable to a fine of 5 shillings. Santa is the Nimrod sun deity. Santa Claus is a mispronunciation of Saint Nicholas, heard as Santi Claus. In truth, a Saint Nicholas has never existed. The world is deluded by similar myths. The Celtic word for feast is Yule. The Yule log is related to Nimrod as the sun deity, bringing back light and warmth to the world. His birthday and other kings after him were the easiest form of birthday celebrations. Most of the world goes by a calendar year heavily influenced by this ancient association with the king's birthday. Nimrod is all over this. And his mythology hovers near the fireplace of our homes today as families burn a Yule log in the hope of his arrival down the chimney. The fireplace was a Roman family's worship place. The most important day to a witch is their own birthday. The custom to surround oneself with loved ones to this day is believed to protect the celebrant from evil. Witches worship Mother Nature, their goddess. The Norse Astara is the old term for Babel's Ishtar, the Earth Mother, also known widely now as Easter. We have inherited nothing but futility, and pastors declare Yahuwah's word is done away with. Most live as if they are pleasing Yahuwah with their pagan behavior, as if he now loves the things he once called abominations. Nimrod's rebellion is also expressed in humanism, encouraging people to serve humanity rather than Yahuwah. Nimrod's objectives are reflected in rising world order. The man who invented Christmas was Nimrod. It is no coincidence that his avatar deities, which exist only in the imaginations of men, were all supposedly born on December 25th. Mithras, Helios, Horus, the Egyptian god, Attis, Zeus, the Greek god, Dionys, son of Zeus, Jupiter, Ra, Perseus, Tammuz, Hercules, Baal, Bacchus, Apollo, Moloch, Sol, Inti, Krishna, Odin, Woden, Sunya, Baphomet, all December 25th birthday. All of them. Every one of those names. It's all the same. The scriptural directives and calendar were disregarded, and the framework of paganism was adopted, causing great confusion. Sun worship became disguised as Christianity, keeping every habit ever practiced by pagans. Sunday, holy water, statues, crosses, trees, wreaths, relics, rosaries, pillars, circumambulation, priestly vestments, scarves, talismans, domes. Daniel chapter 12 verse 4 tells us in the end times knowledge of truth will increase. The neglected scriptural festivals are shadows forming the redemption plan, and one of them foreshadows Succoth or tabernacles. That's the marriage supper. Those who practice idolatry will not be counted in the assembly at the marriage supper of the Lamb. Yahusha has never had anything to do with Christmas or December 25th. Men forced this upon the ignorant masses. Here in the information age, ignorance is a choice. We can serve the traditions and commandments of men through recycled fertility festivals inherited by pagans, or wake up and serve the Creator of all things, our Redeemer, Yahusha. Noah seemed to be a nutcase to the people of his time until it started to rain. This was Christmas, the birth of a sun god.